Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips that you need to know in order to start making your own shoes. The tips from 1 through 5, they're in no order. They're just 5 general tips that I would like to share with you that you'll need to know if you want to make your own shoes, or if you are making shoes, these might help you. So the first one is just be patient. Take your time with making shoes. For me, when I first started, I was rushing throughout the process. I was trying to make stuff, very fast, trying to make a lot of stuff at a time, and it just didn't happen. Throughout this process, I made a lot of mistakes. I messed a lot of stuff up. I had to restart a lot of shoes. And this is one thing that I recommend. Just take your time, go out through the process, don't rush anything. Now I'm in the place where I'm just, take my time. Maybe it takes a day or 2 extra, but at the very end, you're gonna have a lot better product and the best one that you can make. I've had some days where I've broken, 10, 20, 30 needles, and it just ridiculous, and it just kind of makes you mad throughout the day, because you'll be sewing and boom, you break a needle. Okay, whatever. Boom, you break a needle, and then 5 needles later you're like, what am I doing wrong? So then you gotta go throughout it, find what you're messing up on, then from there you're good to go. You keep on going. But there's been plenty of days where the thread messes up, the leather messes up, stuff like that. You just got to go through along with that. You learn from it, you get yourself better throughout that process. You learn what you did wrong, kind of like mess up your mistakes, get them better, so now you aren't making any mistakes anymore, and then learn throughout the process. Being patient throughout the process has also taught me lots of stuff that I didn't know before that I know now. Rushing, doing all that stuff, I found a lot of mistakes that I was making, a lot of little small stuff that I didn't really notice, but in the long run you're like, hey, that's not good, that doesn't look good, that doesn't feel good, stuff like that. And throughout that process I just learned to take my time, go throughout the whole making the shoe. If you got to take an extra day, it's okay, but just remember to be patient, take your time. So step number 2 I recommend is to learn your machine. Learn how it works, learn everything about it. If you have to watch YouTube videos, if you have to Google manuals, if you have to read your own manual that came with it, I recommend learning this thing inside and out. For example, my thing, I got to oil it every day, got to lube it every day. You got to go through the maintenance, just cleaning it, making sure that dust doesn't pile up in certain areas, stuff like that. You can just wipe it down, stuff like that. Also, if you need a light, say that it's not well lit up in here. For example, right now I just got the studio lights on, so normally it's a lot brighter in here, but say that you're in this area where you don't have that much sunlight. What you need to do, get yourself some light like this. That's what I recommend. This is with just learning your own machine, stuff like that. Maybe you have to learn how to wind up your own bobbin. This is one thing that I went through. I got the little machine over here that I shared in a previous video, so you could go check that out. But that's kind of a bobbin winder. Before, I was winding my own bobbins with the full-on machine, and it just was a no-go. I learned from there. I got some other bobbin winders, didn't really work out. So stuff like that you need to know. Also, you got to know about the tension of the thread for the bobbin. That's some other stuff that you need to know about your machine, whether you use needles, the correct needle or not. For example, we're gonna throw this right in here. You pull out the thread. That's something that I didn't know when I got it. Now I know that you got to do that in order to get the thread of the bobbin out. Some other stuff, as I said, the big thing though is to lube up your machine every single day. I recommend every single day. It's very cheap. You get a big old bottle. You're fine with that. But there's some other stuff, Also, we got the LED light right here. We got this light. We got the lamp light right there. I think the light's the biggest thing. I have tools all the way around. But a common question that I get asked every single day, hey, what needles do you use? Well, I use these needles, and they're 135 by 17. Why do I not recommend that for you? Well, I don't recommend that for you because that's what my machine says. Your machine might say something else. Go along with whatever your machine says. For my machine, it's 135 by 17. And they got other specs there, but that's the needle that I use. So that's a big question. Also with this, it has a brushless motor down behind there underneath it. So I got the full-on control panel, as well as just like that, we got ourselves an electric motor. So you got to learn how to use that as well. There's adjustments down here. We got fast, slow, reverse, neutral. stuff like that. That's stuff that you got to know. And also I recommend to, if you can, find YouTube videos. For example, this one, there's no YouTube videos. I pretty much had to take this thing apart, especially when it is broken in the past. I had to take this full-on alarm underneath out. I had to re-gear it, stuff like that. Pain in the butt, but you learn throughout that process. But that's probably my second one, is to learn your machine inside and out, so you don't have to pay someone, you know, $100 just to come look at it and say, hey, it's that and that was it. So that's what I recommend for the second step. If you're getting any value from this, make sure to hit the like button as well as subscribe. It really helps out my channel. I appreciate all you guys showing the love to the channel. Make sure to turn on notifications, and let's get back to it. For tip number 3, I recommend to go to your local store and fill out the leathers before you buy it. Feel out what they feel like, whether they're heavy, whether they're light, thick, thin. So say that you like this leather, it's just a normal black leather, and you see this on the internet and you really like it, but you know, you don't know how it is. I recommend to see the thickness or the, you know, the weight or the thickness of it, then go to a local leather store if you do have one. Walk in, say, hey, you know, I want a 3-ounce leather, I just want to feel how it feels. They'll be like, yeah, here you go, and you could feel it, you know, look at it. Maybe you like that more than what you saw on the internet, and you could get it there. For me, for most of these, I have got them at my local store. I've also gotten lots of them on the internet. It just all depends. I'm at the point now where I kind of know how the leather is, so I don't really have to feel it. But if you're first starting on this, I recommend to go in and feel these. So for example, you know, this is a lot more loose. It's not that heavy of a leather. This is more of, I would recommend like a liner, something thin, compared to this. As you can see, it's just straight. It's very, it's a lot thicker, it's a little bit heavier, has a little bit more weight on it, so this will be more for the upper, like kind of areas like that. So that's what I recommend. I recommend to go inside. Maybe you don't know what leather that you want. Well, you could go to your local leather store. The people that work there generally know everything about the leathers. They are probably leather workers as well. So you could be like, hey, I'm making myself a shoe. I would like, you know, an upper leather, or I maybe want like a liner leather. They'll give you a thin leather for liner. They'll give you a thicker one for the upper. Stuff like that. There's also, you know, suede. There's like flat leathers. There's, you know, different type of leathers. There's alligator, stuff like that. You could always look at that. So that's what I recommend for step 3. For step number 4, I recommend to take a shoe apart. Know the inside and out of the shoe. Say that you're making a Jordan, this is a mid, but say that you're making a Jordan high, Jordan low, maybe you're making a Jordan mid. I recommend to take the whole shoe apart and learn the whole, you know, everything about it, the anatomy from the inside to the outside. I recommend, you know, taking it apart into individual pieces, whether you have patterns or not. I recommend this process just because you know the full inside and out of the Jordan. You know where everything goes, you know where stitches are. There's a lot of stitches that are hidden that you might not know by just looking at this. So say that you bought some patterns, say that you got some patterns from a friend, but you might not know where those stitches go. I recommend that you still take a shoe apart, whether you're gonna make a pattern or not, and you could learn the insides, the outs. You could learn, you know, maybe sizes, different sizes. Maybe you get a pattern and the pattern's a little bit off and you're like, I don't know about that because I just cut the shoe apart and the part kind of looks different. The piece looks a little different. So I recommend to get yourself a shoe. Say they're making a Jordan, Air Force, Dunks, anything like that. I recommend to take it apart, slowly take it apart, you know, find the pieces all individually. You learn the inside and out of the shoe. Also, it's just part of the shoemaking process. I recommend to do this just to teach yourself how to make, like, take a shoe apart in general. This is, you know, it teaches you a lot from taking the shoe apart and not messing up these pieces of leather. If you take your time, you could take this all apart and it'll look very nice. But if you rush, like what I mentioned in the first one, you'll cut like pieces apart, then they won't come out like fully shaped as what they're supposed to. Then you mess it all up. You might have to go get a new shoe just to make your own pattern. So what I recommend is to take a shoe apart at the very beginning. Take your time, but you learn the inside and out of the shoes. Step number 5 is to have fun. Always have fun when you're doing this. Don't force yourself to do this. I personally have lots of fun doing this, making shoes from scratch. I really like, creating stuff that people have never seen before, maybe some ideas that I get to bring to life. So compared to painting shoes, this you're actually making something from scratch, and it just feels a lot better in the hands. I have lots of fun making this, especially, cutting out materials. You get to customize materials. Maybe you want something to look a little different than the original one. You could cut the piece apart, you stitch it on, and before you know it, your shoe's unique. It's a lot different, but I personally have lots of fun doing this. This is why I could do this every single day and not get tired of it. That's what I recommend. Say that you get burnt out, just take a day off, take a week off, then come back to the shoe, keep on making the shoe, then you'll get that spirit, you'll get that burst of energy back again, and you keep on to making the shoe. But I recommend have fun with this. Don't do something that you don't want to do. Say that, you got people that are saying, oh, you got to do Jordans, you got to do Jordans. But if you like, a Yeezy, if you like an Asics shoe, if you like a different shoe, then go ahead and make that shoe. That's what I recommend. It's lots of fun doing what you like when you like it. So that's what I recommend, but have fun with it. I hope these 5 tips help you in order to make your own shoes, whether you know how to make shoes, whether you're just learning, or if you're interested in getting into it. I hope these all help. These are what I have taken away from the past years of making my own shoes. I've had lots of fun doing this. I love sharing all these steps with you. Comment down below what other videos you'd like to see. I'm posting every single day, so just comment down below. I've already made a couple videos that people have posted in the comments. Some of them have recognized it. Hey, thank you. Hey, I read all the comments, so make sure to drop it down below. Let me know what ideas you want to see. Maybe you want to see something else in Jordan 1s. Maybe you want to see another shoe. Right now I'm working on Jordan 4 patterns. I'm about to finish those, so we could do those in the future, as well as Jordan 3s. I already made Air Force 1s, but I love those. I can make those again. So comment down below what shoes that you'd like to see me do. Maybe different content, maybe some sewing machine stuff, like sewing, stitching, stuff like that. Maybe I show you, another office tour, little tools. Either you might have like questions about different tools, how to use them. I did a skiving video. Hopefully some of you guys got some value from that, skiving, teaching you. Let me know if there's other tools that you don't know how to use. I could show you. I'd love to show you, but comment down below what you think. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out all my other videos. Go cop some of the merch down on my website. It really helps out the channel, and have a great day.